Are you sure this is going to work?
It has to. We found him.
Quickly, revise your script.
Got it. All right, King Alfred, pose for the camera.
What kind of eldritch beings are you supposed to be? What do you want from me?
We are an alien species.
Humankind has long been extinct after we settled on Earth.
The two of us aim to rediscover the human civilization's lost history.
We do that by traveling back in time and interviewing the long-deceased witnesses of it.
Currently, we have settled for Anglo-Saxon Britain.
Please answer our questions thoughtfully, because we need to make our report as specific as possible.
Every single thing I just heard from you sounds absolutely ridiculous. Although the two of you don't exactly seem hostile, so I guess I will trust you.
Hello, welcome to A Jump in Time, where history isn't just studied, it is brought to life. Today we have a very special guest from the 9th century, the father of the English Navy, England educator, the person who defeated the Vikings, the king of the Anglo-Saxons. Please welcome His Royal Majesty King Alfred the Great.
Thank you. I feel truly blessed to share my story.
It's hard to imagine the world of the 9th century, especially with the threat of the Vikings looming large. What were the biggest challenges during your reign?
Life in Great Britain at the time was difficult. Kingdoms were divided, constantly at war, and under the shadow of the Viking invasions. My own kingdom, Wessex, was on the brink of collapse. The Vikings had already ravaged much of the land.
It sounds like an incredibly dark time. What did your highness do to overcome this?
It was no easy task. I took refuge in the marshes of Athelney, where I gathered my most loyal men. We regrouped, planned, and then struck back. At Eddington, we had finally defeated the Vikings. Their leader, Guthrum, surrendered, and through that, I secured a fragile peace. I even persuaded him to get baptized as a Christian.
So not only did your majesty defeat him, but you also made peace with him. That's impressive. And you also saved England.
Thank you for your flattery, but it was God's will that made me do it, for I am only his vessel.
You are known as a great reformer, not just a warrior. Can you tell us how did you strengthen your kingdom and protect it from future Viking raiders?
I, per se, wasn't enough to win battles. True peace requires rebuilding what was broken. I improved the military by introducing a rotational system that allows my army to always have a standing force available for defense. Then I built a network of fortified towns that were used as a safe space for soldiers. The last thing I did was to enable the Navy to build new warships that were larger, faster, and more stable than the Viking longships, so we could easily fight off the Vikings, even at sea.
Thanks to all these things your majesty did, Wessex withstood the Viking pressure while other kingdoms fell. A more strong and centralized kingdom was created, and you set the stage for later unification.
Good heavens really do come from the future.
You also started the tradition of English naval defense. This is the reason why you are known as the father of the English Navy.
You also focus on something else. Education, right?
By the time many people had forgotten how to read, even some of the priests, I knew that a kingdom without knowledge would eventually crumble. So I invited scholars to Wessex, and we began translating important Latin texts into English. I had even translated some of those myself. That made common knowledge more accessible to everyone, not just the elite. You You cannot lead a people if they cannot understand their world.
Wait, a king personally translated books. That's incredible. You are really ahead of your time.
You were a thoughtful and fair ruler who believed in justice and order. Tell us about your laws and the Doom Book.
I collected, reviewed, and edited earlier Anglo-Saxon laws to make them more consistent and effective. I created something called the Law Code. It combined traditional Anglo-Saxon laws and biblical laws. We protect the poor and punish criminals.
You ruled Wessex, but you spoke of all the English, not just your kingdom. Were you already dreaming of a united England?
The land was divided. Northumbrians, Mercians, Western Saxons, and so on. But I believe we were one people beneath it all. I called us the Anglocan, the English folk, long before we had one crown. My dream wasn't just to defend Wessex, but to plant the seed of a nation. And this is what makes me stand out as the king of the Anglo-Saxons.